Let's take a look at different sub-object selections in this movie. So I have a simple box, a simple cylinder. This object over here is a line. It's been made with the line tool, just right here. And this is a simple star. So 3ds Max gives you a lot of different ways to manipulate your objects in sub-object levels. So if I right-click on this object, I say convert to, I get a lot of different options. I'm going to convert it to an editable mesh. This one, I'm going to right-click, convert to editable poly. This one over here, I don't have to right-click, convert to editable spline, because right now, when you make a line in Max, when you make anything with the line tool, let's say if I make this, and if I right-click to end the creation, if I go to modify, it already has a sub-object level, so it's already editable spline. Whereas this one, you can see it doesn't. So the difference between this one is it already has the vertex, segment, and spline level, which is an editable spline. And this one doesn't. So for this one, I can right-click, convert to editable spline right here. Another way to do this, if you wanted to keep the star level, and that applies to these two as well, is I can go to the modifier list and say apply an edit spline modifier. So I still have my star settings over here, all my star parameters, but also I have an edit spline modifier which I can access. I can access my vertex, segment, and spline level, which we'll talk about in a second. Same thing with this. If I had, let's say, another primitive object, let's say a torus, instead of right-clicking and converting to editable mesh or poly, I can just go to the modifier list and apply either an edit poly modifier or edit mesh modifier. So let's say if I apply an edit mesh, I still have my torus levels, go to edit mesh, and I have all my sub-object levels. So that's another way. But in most cases, you'll find yourself just right-clicking and converting to. So the edit mesh over here, the sub-object levels on that are vertex, which shows you your vertices right here. You have your edge, which is, these are edges right here. And I can maybe get the object to like a blue color so you can see it better. So you can see those are edges. And I can pull these edges. Then I have my face. These are my faces, triangular faces. I have polygon, so the whole face right here, both the faces. And my element, which will select the entire element. And the hotkeys for that are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 when you're in the sub-object level. For the editable poly, we have slightly different. We still have the vertex, which is 1. We have 2, which is your edge again, right here. Then you have your border, which is, right now I don't have a border edge over here. So let's say if I select the next thing, which is your polygon right here, and if I delete this, then if I go to border, that's my border edge. And then I have element. As for the editable spline, and all these, by the way, you can right-click and you can also access them from here. Element, polygon, border, edge, and top level is when this is not active. So if you close this, that means you're in the top level. Editable spline has your vertex, your vertices right here, your segment, all these segments, a segment joining two vertices, and the spline is the whole spline. And on this one again, although this is not converted to an editable spline, because if you convert to an editable spline, remember that I'll lose my star parameters. But the edit spline will have the same thing. Vertex, you have your segment, which are these segments, and then you have your spline, which is the whole spline.